Hey everybody, we're back again with another tutorial for a new stencil on our website at skinjobsrc.net. It's the Grim Reaper, seen here on a new Ford F100 for the X-Max. This Grim Reaper stencil is really nice. It's about 3.5 by 3 in size, and I'm going to do a quick demo for you guys to get an idea of just how easy this is to spray. I'm going to be using Inspire Candy Blue, some chrome, some mirror chrome, and I'm going to back this in black. Right now, I'm using the Inspire Candy Blue, and I'm spraying this at about 35 psi. I don't reduce my candies, so there's no reducer. The candies from Inspire really don't need reducer. They spray very easily through just about any airbrush that you're using, so I wouldn't really worry about that too much. Of course, the more you spray, the darker the blue gets. You might want to practice on several different sheets to get the intensity of the blue that you want. You can make your own scale or your own chart, 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 pass as an example, and then back it and use it as a reminder for yourself or a study guide. I think with this I sprayed maybe 3 coats just so I can get a warmer blue. Of course, as you're spraying, you're going to get different gradients based on how you lay your chrome and what you're using for shadows. So this is the Grim Reaper stencil. I'm going to give this a light dusting in black. This is the Createx Wicked Detailed Black. In this particular bottle, I did reduce this probably 1 part reducer, 3 parts paint, and it still flows rather well. With the video that I recently just put up for our new Master Series Flame stencils, I was giving away my reducer formula to the first 20 customers who bought that stencil. That same offer is being given with the stencil here for the Grim Reaper. The first 20 customers who buy the Grim Reaper will also get a copy of my reducer formula. I've been using it for years. It works like a charm. When I tell you I don't get clogs, my brush, my paints, they just flow. And it's nothing more nerve-wracking than having your brush clog or having to clean your tip every 2 seconds because your paint mixture isn't mixed well. So the first 20 people who buy that Grim Reaper stencil, they'll get a copy of my reducer formula. So after I did a light dusting of the black, and you really just want to do a nice outline. You don't want to go too dark. When you go too dark, it kind of looks more like a stencil. What I'm doing now is I'm adding texture. I'm adding shadows because the stencil does not have that. So you have to add those things. Don't just spray your stencil of the Reaper. You have the hood over his head. So where the hood is sitting, you really want to add some shadow, some depth of field under the cheekbone, around the eye sockets. Like I said, all around the hood. Wherever the hood meets the skull, you want to add some shadow. In the hood itself, there's folds and wrinkles. So just do a light dusting. A little goes a long way. And don't overspray because black is dark. It really is. But once you reduce it, it should flow a little lighter. And since the paint is thinner, in order to get really black, you got to spray several coats. So using a reducer helps you get those lighter gradients of the black. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Everything on this stencil needs a shadow. So because I'm working with candies first as my background color, And I'm spraying in the pretense that this is going on an RC body, so I'm working in reverse. I sprayed that candy, I sprayed the outline, and I did the shadows. I'm not worried about the highlights because the highlights are going to come when I do my flames. I'm going to add flames to this. So I'm checking this chrome. I'm using mirror chrome, and I want his skull to have some pop. So I'm going to spray certain areas. I'm not going to spray the whole thing in silver and in chrome because I want some of my flame work to come through onto the stencil to make it look as if his face and his entire hood are also enveloped in flames. So I'm really only spraying the chrome where I want certain highlights to pop through. And that's a personal preference. So I'm using my Master Series flame stencils, and I'm laying some flames all around the edge. And if you looked at that particular video, you would get some instruction on how to lay your flames from beginning or at the bottom to the top. You always want to start off wider at the bottom and narrow at the top as you fade your flames away. As gas and flames burn off, the bubble gets smaller and smaller as it rises to the top. If you ever seen a fire, it's always hottest at the bottom where it originates from. So, uh, you know, I just do this all day, every day. So this is easy for me to just walk through. And what you're watching is me doing this in real time. It's not sped up. It's not slowed down. So yeah, it takes me minutes to do that. On average, when I paint an RC body, let's say an X Max, I can paint an entire X Max from prep to finish in 45 minutes. And it'll be flamed out, skulls, no skulls, whatever details in the window, rivets, whatever. 45 minutes on to the next body. That's because I do it all the time. But this particular stencil took me about 2 days to create and get the size right. It is laser cut and it's 0.003 mylar. So it's thin, but that's so that it's bendable, so it moves with the shape of the body. Because I've used thicker mylar, and all it does is, after using it for some time, it it marks the body, it scratches the paint as you're working. So it's better to have it thin and flexible, and because it's thinner, it lays on the body better. Just for you guys who are purchasing the stencil, so you know. So right now I'm backing my work in black. With candies and with chrome, no matter how you spray, even if you reduce your air pressure, you're going to get some overspray. But because of the candies being so transparent, when you spray your black, the black kind of covers a lot of the overspray. You can get away with it. I wouldn't recommend wiping away or trying to wipe away the overspray because that's what shows all of the, the defects in the work, even more so. The overspray, when you spray the black onto it, looks more natural as if the flame has continued towards the back of the body or wherever the overspray goes. And in most cases, it's not even visible. That's just another little tip that you guys might want to be aware of. So I think I sprayed like maybe 2 or 3 coats of black. It doesn't have to be heavy because this is just a tutorial so you guys can get an idea of what this looks. So if you saw the picture in the beginning of the F100 with the Grim Reaper, I used a different flame stencil on that. I'm not sure if I'm going to sell that stencil. I tried it. I'm not sure if I like it. It's just a copy that you just keep spraying over and over again, moving it backward, and you just spray the edges. But we'll talk about that in another video. So This particular Grim Reaper is done. It's in candy blue from Inspire, backed in chrome. If you look at the skull now, when I zoom in on this, you'll see the shadows and the highlights in the skull. And you can see the flame work going through the skull. That's those steps that I did in reverse to get to this end product. So again, it's available on the website right now in our stencil section. The first 20 people will get a copy of my reducer formula. This is a new stencil for 2023. Just finished it. So be the first. Go get yours. And I'll see you guys in the next video.